Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce Lt Col Amy Husmann, United States Air Force, retired.
Thank you everyone for coming out. Jeff, you made it. He woke up at like 3 a.m. and drove all the way from DC to drive to be here. Nooner, thanks for coming out. Colonel McFadden, thank you for being here. To all our guests, family, thank you for coming. Now, I have a few remarks. I wrote a speech. I hope you don't mind. It'll just take, maybe an hour or two. So get comfy. I hope you grab snacks if you need a restroom break. Oh, wait, no, I have a short one. Wow. Thank you, everyone, for coming. To the airmen of the ACES and ACOMs who made it here, absent staff, 15th Air Force, thank you so much for being here today. To the people who are live streaming, I know we have folks who are watching from Hawaii to California, to Europe, to South Africa. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'm really glad that we're able to have the tech to be able to do this. And if you are watching from home, please be sure to subscribe and don't forget to hit that like button. To the folks who made this ceremony possible, Airman Zerba for the great rendition of the national anthem, Captain Howie for your narration. I line of sight tasked you for this. Thank you so much for stepping up. I really appreciate it, all the behind the scenes stuff that's happening to make the live stream happen, the video recording, the PA, and the photography, microphone, all that. Thank you everyone for making this happen. Colonel Gonzalez, you're right, you were my first choice. Sorry, dude. I had actually asked a good friend of mine, Lieutenant Colonel Mendel, who was the JICO here at the ACES, to come and officiate. He's working right now in Germany, and he was going to fly out. He's got 2 little kids. He was going to take the time to fly out to be here. And unfortunately, about a month ago, Putin decided to invade the Ukraine. And we're warriors. This is what we do. We understand operational necessity. And so Klinger right now is very busy doing important work, and he is exactly where he needs to be. I hope you're watching, Klinger. I wish you could be here too, men, but you're where you need to be. Don't screw it up. But Mike, when I line of sight tasked you, short notice, by the way, you stepped up. And you didn't hesitate when I said, hey, what are you doing April 1st? You didn't hesitate. And for that professionalism, it sets you apart. And I'm honored to have worked with you, and thank you for the kind words and for being here. It means a lot to me and my family. Thank you. So for everyone who's here today, IRL, virtually, I'm standing here before you at the end of a 21 Air Force career because you have stood with me, and I thank you for that. Now I get to the hard part where I get emotional, so bear with me. There's some young ladies who are here and who are dialed in watching virtually that I want to especially recognize. Abby, Anna, Carla, Annie, Senna, Yazine. These young ladies have lived with us as our au pairs, as our nannies, since Sandra was a month old. Being a military family with kids is very hard. There's schoolwork, diapers, piano lessons, swimming classes, COVID, homeschool. And we would not have been able to do our job, focus on our job and our mission, if we had to worry about the stuff at home. So I want all of you to know that you have played an important role in me being here today, and you have made a significant contribution to the Air Force. So thank you for being a part of Team Husmann. To my friends who are here in person, Shannon, Jeff, Stephanie, Steve, Donna, the people who are dialed in from 5E, from Ventura, from Mali, folks in Europe, who for dozens of locations from around the world. Thank you for being there for me over the years. No one does this alone. You guys have been my sounding board, my motivation, been inspiration to me, my support network, my great phone call network, and my sanity keepers. We've laughed together, cried together, and I wouldn't have made it here without you. Thank you. To my brother who's live streaming, and my sister who is here today, I'm here because of the love and support that you've shown me over the years. Thank you for being here, not just today, but for the past half century. I have some flowers for my sister. Sissy, thank you. John, you're live streaming. I can't send you flowers, but I would if I could. Thank you. And just one more note for my siblings, John and Mary Beth. You know, Mary is an accomplished medical worker. She's been fighting the front lines of COVID in New York City for the past 2 years. My brother has done some amazing things that take a lot of guts. He's jumped off of fjords, skied out of helicopters, just amazing stuff. But I want you guys to remember on this day, though, that I made it to retirement first. So just remember that, and thank you so much for everything over the years. I couldn't have done it without you. There's someone who's not here today, but I think, or I believe, is still watching, and that's my father. He passed away about 5 years ago. And I know that he was very proud of me and the things that I have done in military service. To the day he died, he kept the flag that I flew for him on one of my first combat sorties in his office over his desk, as well as a picture of me at my graduation from navigator training with him. And so, Dad, if you're out there, thank you for encouraging me throughout the years. I can feel your presence today, and that's probably because the entire reception is catered from Costco, which was his favorite store. So please be sure to enjoy some cake, and there is alcohol, drink responsibly. To my mom. Mom, a friend of mine recently said that our children stand on our shoulders. Mom, I have no doubt that I would not be here today if it weren't for your encouragement and your example. Thank you for giving me such tall shoulders to stand on over the years. Thank you. To my kids, Xander and Xavier. Oh, wow. You know, I thought a lot about what I would say to you today, about how to explain to you why I've served in the military, why I've had to travel, to spend time away from the two of you, why we've had the early mornings and the late nights, why I've missed dinners, school events, piano recitals. I know you wish you could have missed those. I thought a lot about how to put into words the reasons why I, as your mom, have sacrificed and given so much over the years, and have asked you to do the same, missing out on major milestones and events. So I'm going to try to put it into very simple terms to explain why. And the best quote I can think of is from the movie SpongeBob SquarePants and Mr. Krabs, who said, "I like money." I mean, yeah, there's patriotism, there's professionalism, there's being a part of something, but money. Lieutenant Colonel Husmann. Rob, you inspire and encourage me to be my better self. You know me inside and out. You've seen me at my best and you've seen me at my worst. Through it all, we've been at each other's sides and other positions. You're my partner. You're my confidant. You're my best friend. You're the love of my life. You give me joy and purpose. You know, I've had a lot of titles over the years. Captain Husmann, Lieutenant Garrett, Lieutenant Colonel Husmann, but the one that means the most to me is Mrs. Husmann. It's traditional to give flowers to spouses at these events, so I have some for you. And just keep in mind, Rob, I know you're getting ready to do your own retirement thing, but I've got the Thunderbirds planned to take off right at the end of my ceremony. So you're gonna have the gauntlets being thrown. All right. Finally, as we wrap up today, Lieutenant Kovacs, where are you? All right. This young man made this ceremony possible, so let's give him and everyone a round of applause for. I have one small thing I want to leave with you. It's this book that I picked up. It's an Air Officer's Guide. It's a guide to being an Air Force officer. Since you're the next up-and-coming generation, I want to pass this on to you. Now, I like to save money, so I got this at a second-hand store. It's from 1966. so it's a little bit dated. So just to give you an example of some of the data material in here, those of us in the Air Force will appreciate this. Some of the advice is like on exercise, it says probably the best form of exercise for Air Force officers is golf. When one is young and bubbling with energy, such games as tennis or basketball may seem more attractive. However, bear in mind, such forms of exercise can rarely be continued through middle age. Golf is moderate enough physically to be played throughout life, so good advice in here. There's a section in here on how to get marked down in effectiveness reports. We call them OPRs now. Keep this in mind, all you young gentlemen out there. It says, transgressions of moral codes with respect to women constitute an avenue to effectiveness report difficulties. Such generally comments adversely upon officers who have been openly and flagrantly violated the codes of gentlemanly conduct. So, kind of data material. Rob, just so you know, there's a whole section in here on how I should dress now as an Air Force wife. Maybe during game night. But there is one section that stuck with me that I want to share with those of us who wear or have worn the uniform. And this is one that actually is, that I think has held true over the years. And it's on combat. And it says, combat is too often described as being only the event of deadly encounters between two adversaries, each possessing and directing an attacking vehicle, such as an aircraft. Not so. Combat is much more the tiresome struggle to supply aviation material, such as fuel, at the proper time and place in the theater of war. Combat is frequently the effort to produce sanitary water and food in an area where it is impossible to do so, to build shelters around an aircraft, to operate a decent mess in indecent surroundings, to predict weather from totally inaccurate soundings, to furnish needed parts for inoperational aircraft when parts are 10,000 miles away. Combat is doing the best you can under the circumstances. It is a sharp realization that your life or death, or someone else's, someone that you value, hangs in the balance between your performance and that of your enemy counterpart. So if you take one thing from this book, Trey, please take that. There's other stuff in here that you should just like ignore or burn because it's completely sexist dated, etc. But it's good advice. When you read the other stuff, do so with some whiskey. Thank you. And on that, you know, I've done a number of jobs in my Air Force career. Mike, you mentioned some of them. I've done everything from fly the line in Afghanistan to work staff programs and billions of dollars. I've led dirt boys in CE and junior lieutenants and junior airmen, and as well as air operations professionals from around the world. I've been in rooms with world leaders, and I've worked as a crew dog. But in everything that I've done, it's been with the knowledge that what I was doing was important. It's doing something significant. What I was doing mattered. And those of us who wear this uniform, whether we wear it for 4 years or 40 years, whether we have served as a nurse. By the way, my mother was a nurse in the Air Force way back in the 1900s. Those of us who wear this uniform, we're a part of something. And I'm truly honored to have been a member of the profession of arms, to have served alongside the professional airmen, soldiers, sailors, Marines, Coast Guardsmen, and Guardians from the United States, as well as professional officers from around the world. Being a member of this profession is more than a job, it is a calling. And it's one that requires commitment and sacrifice from both myself and my family. It requires that we give the best of ourselves to the utmost of our ability. And so to all who are part of this profession, past and present, I'm humbled to have served with you for 2 decades of my life. This is a chapter in my life. It is not the book. And as for me, it's time for the next chapter to be written. Change is inevitable. Change is hard. But change is also good because it's through change that we grow as people. And we shouldn't be afraid of it. The Air Force isn't forever. I made it my profession for 2 decades. But I did so with this day in sight, knowing that when my career goal was accomplished, I'm going to walk away. And what I do is to family and friends who are waiting for me, as well as a whole ton of shows in my Netflix queue that I am finally going to get to watch this spring. Because the truth is, and I promise you this, everyone who wears a uniform, one day it's going to be time to return to the civilian world and trust in the next generation of professionals to continue to carry the torch, to build upon what we have done, and to live the values that we have tried to demonstrate. So to those of you who are still in, don't screw it up. So I leave here today with a heart full of gratitude to have had the opportunity to serve, for the friendships and relationships that have made this service worthwhile. Thank you for being with me on this journey.
The men and women of the United States Air Force are proud to have served Lieutenant Colonel Amy Husmann and assure her we will work hard to safeguard the values she has instilled upon us. Ma'am, from the members of the 609th Air Support Squadron, it has been an honor to serve with you. We wish you success in future endeavors. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the departure of the official party. And please join Lieutenant Colonel Husmann and her family for refreshments immediately following the ceremony.